Having stubborn belly fat can be rough. Your clothes not fitting, your suits don't fit the way you want them to, and not all that happen when you take your clothes off. These are the common concerns and frustrations that a lot of people reach out to me about. And so I'm going to show you how much easier it is to lose belly fat than what most of these trainers might tell you. Okay. A lot of trainers will tell you, hey, just eat less and move more. But a lot of people are doing that and they're still having a hard time losing belly fat. And so if you've been doing that and you like, man, I don't know, there's something else to it. It is. I'm going to show you how I've been helping my coaching clients drop 40, 50, 60 pounds, go from belly fat to having a flat stomach in a matter of months, like 3 to 6 months. Okay. Now, if you have more weight to lose, then obviously that's going to be different. But anyway, I'm going to share with you some actionable tactical things you can start doing today to start slimming down your waistline. Okay. No matter if you got belly fat, the muffin top, the back fat, I'm going to show you how to get rid of it. Okay. The first thing is this: a lot of people who have a hard time losing weight, they're trying to outwork poor nutrition habits. Okay. And so I want to make it very, I want to make you very aware that if you are trying to hit the gym and outwork your junk food diet, I'm talking about eating bagels, croissants, donuts, fast food all the time, you're going to have a hard time losing weight. You are seriously mistaken the process on what it really takes to lose belly fat. Okay. Now most people, they've been doing ab workouts, they've been doing the sit-ups, they've been doing the ab machines and all these different things. They still have a hard time losing their waistline. I mean, slimming down the belly fat. That is because if you're doing strength training exercises like these ab workouts, they are strengthening your abs, but they're not getting rid of the belly fat. Okay. So 80% of fat loss is what we eat, it's our nutrition. And so if you don't get that part right, you're going to have a hard time, man. You're going to find yourself stressing. Like, dude, I'm putting in so much time in the gym. I'm doing all this cardio. I'm doing all these ab workouts. And then when you look at yourself in the bathroom mirror, you're like, my stomach ain't going down at all. That's because your nutrition is not on point. Okay. Ab workouts don't mean I used to think the same thing. I used to think if I just did sit-ups and I did these six pack back in the days, it used to be this YouTube channel called Six Pack Shortcuts before I ever became a fitness coach. And I believe it was like an Asian guy. And I used to be doing his ab workouts because I wanted to get my abs like cut up. I wanted to be like real chopped up. And I just remember doing the ab exercises, and my stomach used to be super. They used to be super. What do you call it? Super sore. And I'm like, man, why is my abs sore, but they're not getting more defined? You got to pay for that, Arth. You got to pay for that. But anyway, um, and so, I just was confused. I was really frustrated because I'm like, I'm doing all these ab workouts, all these sit ups. I got to the point where I could do 100 plus sit ups straight, super strong, tons of endurance, but no more definition. And that's what happens to a lot of people. Although a lot of people have more fat than I did at that time. Like I wasn't like fat. I just wanted to be more defined, more cut. And so the issue with most people though, they're doing all these ab workouts, getting stronger, but they don't see the abs popping. They don't see the definition. They don't see the flat stomach. And so it's the nutrition. Okay. And so now I want to segue into, now that you know that part of it, because you got to know that you can't outwork poor nutrition habits. Okay. The next phase is this. All right. Because it's really simple, but you got to get this part. There's a difference between eating based on just calories and strategic eating for fat loss. There's a lot of people who will say, well, just be in a calorie deficit. Y'all, I know a lot of y'all will say things like, a lot of these trainers, they say, be in a calorie deficit, eat less, move more. That's typically what they say. And being in a calorie deficit can help. It can. But they're not telling you the full story. Because if you're in a calorie deficit eating junk food, uh, Miss Bonnie says 100% abs are built in the kitchen. Uh, Partly. It's a big part of it, but there's more to it. Okay. You're smart though. You're thinking in the right direction. But here's the thing: if you're in a calorie deficit, and you're eating a lot of fast food. You're eating a lot of processed food, refined carbs. You can lose weight, but you're gonna feel terrible. You're gonna find yourself having, you're gonna be bloated because of the poor quality foods you're eating. You're gonna find yourself having brain fog, low energy. This is because it's not just about calorie intake. It's about energy management. This is why I say strategic nutrition. Okay, because yes, we have to have the proper portions, which we get from our calorie intake, right? Cardboard box, what's up? Y'all got some interesting names on YouTube. But anyway, and so you got uh, calorie intake, which is how you get your portions. Outside of your calorie intake, you have to get the quality of the food right. Because if you don't have the proper quality of food, then you're going to find yourself tired, irritable, having bloating. This is how folks end up having type 2 diabetes, insulin resistance. This is how these things happen. Not just from like the amount of food they eat, their portions, but it's the quality of the foods that they eat. People having uh, uh, hormonal belly fat, which is also known as like cortisol belly. Okay, uh, people having type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure. This is a nutrition issue. You fix your nutrition, you fix your health, you fix your energy, and by default, you slim down your waistline. Okay? A lot of people who have this bloating, it's inflammation inside your gut based on something that you're eating and maybe the quantity of what you're eating also. Because some people are eating good food, but they're overeating. And if you overeat, bloat. It's too much. You're in a surplus. You won't be able to lose weight. You won't be able to slim down the waistline. Okay? And so, super important to think strategically. Am I eating the right amount of foods? Am I eating the right quality of foods? Meaning like whole foods. I'm about to give y'all a hack. Okay, I'm about to give y'all a hack. Your boy Bray. What's up, man? Welcome to the family. Appreciate the subscribe. Appreciate the sub. Um, my problem is I eat too much bread. Yeah, bread ain't gonna help you. You know, maybe some Ezekiel bread. But a point that I wanted to make, want to give y'all some game real quick. When you're shopping in the grocery store, I want you to think about this. All right. Um, you want to shop on the perimeter because what do you see? What do you typically see when you shop in the aisles of the grocery store? You typically see bread. You typically see cookies, candy. What else do you see? You see Gatorade, right? You see all the pastries, the junk food, right? But when you look at the perimeter on the outside, right, at the grocery stores, Whole Foods, Publix, right, this is where you see the whole foods. This is where you see your fruits, your vegetables, your proteins, okay, your eggs, your healthy fats, okay. Super important. It's super important that you eat on the perimeter if you want to slim down your waistline. This is one of the easiest ways to slim down your waistline, guys. Most people who struggle to lose belly fat, they are eating food that are in the aisles. They're eating cookies, crackers, croissants, bread, chips. These types of foods are what we call refined carbs. Refined carbs have very little nutritional value, but the calories are extremely high. But most people just don't pay attention to it. And so they find themselves having a hard time slimming down, not because, the food is just like, well, it's junk food, but also the calories are super high. And this is how a lot of folks end up having health issues, high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes. And they're like, man, I don't even eat candy. I don't eat sugar. I don't eat candy. It's not candy that's the problem. Of course, you can get type 2 diabetes from candy, but you can also get type 2 diabetes and have insulin resistance from eating a lot of bread, eating a lot of croissants, cookies, even the juice and things that people drink. You can drink too much Gatorade. Believe that or not, you can drink too much Gatorade. You can drink too much Simply Lemonade, too much sweet teas. These things cause other health issues outside of just belly fat. Belly fat is just a symptom of a bigger problem, which most people don't realize. Like if you have excess belly fat, you had a muffin top, like that's your body giving you warning signs. That's your body giving you a red flag, like, hey, you eating in a surplus. The type of foods you eating, you're not like, you got to take care of me, man. If I'm overflowing with belly fat because you're eating in a surplus, okay, with the type of foods that you're eating, a lot of refined carbs. Miss Bunny says eyes getting drawn, bright colored packs. It's full of sugar. Yeah. If you can't get type one beaters, you ain't. What's hey man, y'all are crazy. How do you get rid of Ebola and sickle cell? Uh, I actually don't think you can get rid of sickle cell. I believe sickle. I mean, when I was in high school, in Spanish too, your boy was very affluent in Spanish, and at that time, and my professor, my teacher, she had sickle cell, and I don't believe that's something you can get rid of. But anyway, I don't want to get too far away from the topic. But my whole point is eat foods based on that are on the perimeter. Okay, that's another hack. That's another, way of life. Really, this is how you live. You want to have a lifestyle of eating this way if you want to be able to have a flat stomach year round. You don't want to be the person who's like always having to prepare for a vacation, having to prepare for the new year, having to prepare for, a photo shoot, whatever it is. Stay ready so you ain't got to get ready. That's it. And so you make it a lifestyle of eating the right way. You make it a lifestyle of exercising 3, 4 times a week. Okay. Um, which we'll talk about next. And so if you want to tone, like a lot of people who reach out to me, they're like, I want to lose weight, but I want to tone. I want to, look good in my clothes. I want to look good in my suits. I want to look good when I take my clothes off. This is what I typically hear from a lot of people. And I get it because I'm the same way. Like I want my clothes to fit a certain way. I don't want to just be out here looking, weak and skinny fat. I want to look good. It's part of the game. And so um, you have to lift. Most people I see who are trying to lose belly fat, they're just doing cardio. And it's like cardio is really overrated for weight loss. Believe it or not, it's overrated because the biggest part of weight loss is the nutrition. And so the cardio is really just, it's more of like helping you manage your energy, manage your stress, manage your blood sugar. That's what cardio does. It's like a wellness routine, a wellness habit. Okay, more so than a weight loss habit. Nutrition is what's going to help you lose weight, and then from there you want to lift. Lifting weights is what's going to help you build muscle. You can't tone if you don't have muscle tone. So these people who are out here just losing weight and just doing cardio, taking Ozempic and doing the weight loss shots, and you're like, why you look sick? They look something like something they didn't do that the right way. That happens because they ain't lifting. But if you lift while you dial in your nutrition and not take the quick way out, you can actually drop body fat and reshape your whole body at the same time versus trying to take the easy way out like a lot of people do, and they find themselves not happy with how they looking. I see people. Somebody the other day was on my in my Instagram DMs like, what did she say to me? Uh, I just hate my body. I was like, dang, hate my body? You hate your body? That's wild. And there's a lot of people out here like that. I get a lot of people in my DMs. Like I got almost 200,000 people on Instagram, another 100,000 on Facebook, and a lot of people tell me some of their deepest, darkest secrets about how they feel about themselves. Somebody they say they got their toe cut off or something because they had type 2 diabetes for so long. It is crazy what a lot of people are going through. And so I say all this to say, you want to make this into a lifestyle. Make it a lifestyle of eating the right types of foods. Make it a lifestyle of hitting the weights. That way you can build muscle. When you build muscle, you can see tone. When you just do cardio, you're just gonna look skinny fat. You can lose some weight if you eat right and just do cardio. But if you want to look good in your clothes, and when you take your clothes off, you have to lift. Okay? Ms. Bonnie says, is it better to lift heavy with not many reps, or is it better to lift less weight for more reps? Um, it's a common misconception in the fitness industry where a lot of people think, if you lift heavy, you're gonna get bulky. That's what a lot of people think. I used to think the same thing when I got into doing training years ago, like over 16 years ago. But you don't get bulky from lifting heavy. You get bulky whether you're lifting heavy or not, but you're eating junk food. Like if your nutrition isn't on point, I don't care how you lift. You can lift heavy or lightweight. If your nutrition isn't dialed in, you can still get bulky. You can still gain weight if you're lifting lightweight and doing a lot of reps. Okay, but that's just a way of training. Like everyone's different. Like you can stimulate muscle development and tone by lifting heavy, which is one of the more efficient ways to do it and time effective ways to do it. But you can also do more reps, like as many reps as possible type things. Some people call them burnout reps and things like that, burnout sets. But it takes up a lot of time, and these are typically the people who do that are they don't have heavy enough weights to use. Like if you don't, people who are like working out at home and they only have like 5, 10, 15 pound little bitty dumbbells, like you gonna be doing reps for days instead of just going to the gym, lifting some heavier weights and challenging yourself. And so this is why I always encourage people, unless you have a full at home gym, like go to the gym. And so you have not just a variety of equipment, but you have equipment that can challenge you. Because what doesn't challenge you will not change you. You won't be able to build lean muscle to have the tone. Okay? So super important. Um, Somebody said, bro, why you don't stretch? Nothing wrong with stretching. You can stretch. Stretching is fine. Um, so one more thing I want to give, one more gem. As it relates to losing belly fat, okay? If you want to lose belly fat faster and a lot easier, track your habits. You want to track high performance habits, okay? Here's what I mean, because these habits are more so not just weight loss habits, but they're just wellness habits. And when you take care of yourself, you're able to lose weight by default, okay? So track your sleep. How many hours of sleep are you getting a night? Because if you're not getting at least 6 to 8 hours of sleep, stress is going to be high. When you're deprived of rest and sleep, you tend to eat more food. You tend to eat more sugary foods. Like I remember I used to be this, I used to look at some of these personal development speakers and they would say, sleep when you die, things like that. And I'm like, oh, okay, I need to grind hard. And so I'd be getting very minimal sleep, eating junk food late at night, eating cinnamon toast crunch, eating Oreos because I was stressed. And when you're stressed, you tend to eat more junk food. You tend to want to eat more sugar. You tend to want to eat more food in general because you're deprived of sleep. So make sure you're tracking your sleep patterns. Number two, making sure you're tracking your water intake. If you're not hydrated, we call that dehydrated. If you are dehydrated, you tend to eat more junk food. You tend to have more cravings. You tend to stress eat because you're deprived of water, which is essential to be able to continue to live. And so I'm not talking about lemonade, sodas, juice, Gatorade, water. Nothing added in it, just straight water, guys. And so that way you not only can feel well, you have energy, but it can help you lower your stress levels. Like guys, a lot of times whenever I'm grinding, and there's been times where if I'm drinking a lot of caffeine, a lot of coffee, I'm thinking that's gonna give me more energy, but then I hit this breaking point where I'm like, damn, I'm drinking all this caffeine, but I'm still tired. What's going on? And then it dawned on me, I wasn't drinking no water. I'm just drinking 2, 3 cups of coffee a day. When I started drinking more water, energy level went through the roof. I got energy throughout the evening instead of being mentally exhausted and burned out. And so, super important to make sure you're staying hydrated. That's another habit to track. Another habit to track. Are you tracking your calorie intake on a daily basis? Are you tracking your protein intake on a daily basis? If you don't know these things and you're having a hard time losing belly fat, that is why. These things are critical. Like when people join my coaching program, where I build out their nutrition plan, I show them what to eat, the best foods, the calorie intake, the protein intake. They have structure. This is why they're able to lose so much weight so quickly. It's not because they're better than you or better than anybody else. Like people who are successful, they have structure around what they're doing. And so when you have that structure, by default, you get better results faster because you're not guessing, you're not stressing, okay, about what things you need to be doing or if you're wasting your time. And so get that structure with your calorie and protein intake. Make sure you're tracking your sleep. Make sure you're tracking how much water you're consuming. There's one other thing I want to talk about. Oh yeah, and also your workouts. Track how many days a week are you working out consistently, not just when you feel like it, not just when it's convenient for you to work out, not 2 times one week, 3 times the next week, no times the next week, 5 times the next week because you feel bad for the last couple of weeks that you didn't go to the gym. It's got to be something that you can consistently, realistically stick with. Not what you see the trainers and the Joe Blows at the gym doing or what somebody on social media said they're doing. What can you realistically sustain? Because if you're following plans that you can't realistically sustain based on your demanding career and your schedule, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. And this is why a lot of people lose weight and gain it all back. Lose their belly fat, gain it all back. Because they can't stick with the plan that they're on. And so you got to have structure. You have to have a plan that fits your goals, your lifestyle. That way you can keep up with it. Okay. And not, find yourself feeling disappointed and discouraged because you lost the results. And so when you do this, it makes losing belly fat easy. It makes it really simple, guys. Okay. It doesn't have to, be hard like most people think it is. I'm 35 years old, about to be 36 and this year. And it's just like, I'm not stressing or struggling to keep my abs. I remember when I was in my teenage years and people in their 30s we used to say, wait until you hit 30. You're going to lose all that's going to go away. Wait until you hit 30. But here I am, 35, still have abs. And so it's more so about how are you showing up for yourself on a daily and weekly basis? And what are the standards that you set for yourself? Not what the standards are for other people, because if they're overweight, out of shape, and they're like, oh, wait until you hit your 30. Their standards, their life is reflecting the standards that they had up to that point. And so if you want your life to look different, your body to look different, you want to have better health, you want to have a better appearance and not stressing and worrying about your looks and feeling judged or whatever, change your habits. Your habits are a reflection of your standards. And so change that based on the things I've shared with you today and watch the results change. Your body. All right. Other than that, guys, I know we went a little bit over. Did a late night, evening live today for a change. I want to switch it up. I did one earlier, but I was like, man, you know what? I don't have no more calls today. Let me go live, give y'all some sauce. Other than that, if y'all want some help from me, you want me to give you a game plan where I personally help you step by step with your nutrition and your training to be able to drop your next 30 plus pounds without you having to guess, without you having to stress about if what you're doing is right or wrong, I'll drop a link down in the description. All right. Other than that, guys, we out of here. Peace.